Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to Modern Mining. Got a pretty interesting video today. I had a customer drop off 2 rigs here that they were wanting me to make into Cryptex rigs, but I realized after he dropped them off that the GPUs that he bought, and there's a box somewhere that has 2 more of these GPUs. These are I think they're called P106 mining cards, and they don't actually have a display. So I had to tell him that basically these aren't going to work unless the CPUs have integrated graphics. But I have no idea what CPU is on these. I don't really know any of the parts. So later today we're going to throw a real GPU on these and see what CPU is on these, and maybe we can use the integrated graphics to still turn these into kind of little AI, or not AI, but mining rigs with these P106 cards that he's already bought. So more hobby type stuff, certainly not going to be the most profitable things. One thing I immediately noticed is this PSU doesn't even have a VGA cable. I do have some extra PSUs up there, so we'll probably need to get one of those out to even test this thing. So that's one thing, and then at the end of the video here, we'll go over my profit highlights so far, or not really profits, but just to update on how everything's looking. I know a lot of people have been complaining about rentability. They're not getting jobs. I don't know if I've been lucky or what, but I've been 100% rented when I'm not having internet or power issues. I'm 100% rented all the time, and that's the same thing right now. So quick trick, 4090s need to go on salad. All of mine are getting those 26-cent jobs, or sometimes 21-cent, but 4090s go on salad. 3090s, they can go on salad, but they're only going to pull those 9-cent jobs, and they're going to use a lot of power. So those are on Okta, rented for 9 cents. Not the best, but notice none of the fans are spinning. That's a good sign. That means they're using no power. So they're basically making about $2 each in profit per day, which is pretty dang good. And the 5090 rented on Okta, 34-cent job. It's been going 5 days strong on that one. Very nice. So we'll take a little bit more of a look at those in a bit. And first, after a word from our sponsor, let's figure out what is going on with these crazy little rigs. I mean, these things are all over the place, so let's check them out. Today's video is sponsored by Via BTC. Via BTC is a highly established mining pool for some of the biggest cryptos, including a top 3 pool for Bitcoin and Litecoin. Via BTC also supports Kaspa mining and currently holds over 20% of the total hash rate. When mining Litecoin, Via BTC now allows you to merge mine up to 8 different coins. This includes Litecoin, Doge, Bells, Lucky Coin, Pepe, Junk Coin, Dingo, and Schick. Mining all these coins at once can substantially boost your earnings on your script miners. Additionally, they support auto withdrawals, so you can set it and forget it and just get those payments with no extra headaches. They also have the ability to set up automatic alerts through email and Telegram, so you never miss a minute of mining. Don't forget to refer your friends for extra bonuses and earning potential, and thanks to Via BTC for sponsoring this video. So it should be relatively quick to test these. This one already has a PSU. Notice it's that same white brand as the one that we just built the white rig with. So let's work on this one first though. This power supply, like I said, is no good. It doesn't have a VGA cable. So let's unplug everything from there. It didn't even look like there was a CPU cable plugged into the motherboard. Yeah, there wasn't. So this one, who knows if it'll even work, but I'm gonna get my PSU up here. Always recommend having one of these on hand. It certainly sucks to not be able to kind of like test something if you don't have the parts on hand. One thing we're definitely gonna need is a monitor to test with, and then a power supply cable. I've got one right here. I've got this all cable managed. This power supply used to be on one of my AI rigs, and I believe I put like a 4090 or 3090 on it, something, and the 650 watt just wasn't cutting it anymore, so I needed to go with a bigger one. This is being difficult to get off here. Okay, so real quickly, we'll plug in motherboard cable. These are pretty cool little mounts. Like this one's definitely 3D printed, and this one is like some sort of clear plexiglass mount. but that's about the only cool things about them. The rest of the stuff is kind of all over the place. So here's our GPU cable, our CPU cable. This is only going to take the 4 pins, so I need to split this. Does this even allow that? I assume that's okay. I just plugged half of the cable in, the other half is overhanging. I'm sure that's fine since they normally split in half, but that's strange that that one does not. Hopefully I don't fry anything here. So there's that. Now we just plug in our GPU. So this is the last GPU that I still have from my previous 12 card rigs, the biggest 3070 you'll ever see. Probably not the best one to be testing with here, but it will do the job. So let's get this inserted. I'm probably going to reseat the RAM real quick too. Both of these cards do not really look like they're actually fully seated. So what is this? We're looking at DDR3 RAM, and this is, I never understand if the 8G by 2, does that mean 16 total, or does that mean that these are each 4 sticks? I'm going to assume 16 total. So let's see if we can get these to actually click. They're definitely not making any sort of audible click, but maybe that's all right. All right, GPU power cables now. So you could certainly say that this customer's got the mining bug. I need to screw this GPU in. He's purchasing all kinds of used hardware in the hopes to be able to use it as some sort of mining rig. Okay. Here we go, ready to test. We've got in our HDMI and our power supply cable. Will this turn it on immediately? Negative. So I need to find where a power button needs to go into on here. Probably somewhere on here. So let me get that installed. Just kidding, it very clearly says power right there. So it's a good sign. I don't think this has a drive, so it should hopefully just take us straight into the BIOS. That is a good looking 3070. And from here, we should be able to see what CPU we're using. So I gotta get a keyboard installed. Well, this one is not looking promising. We've got an AMD Athlon X4. I don't know anything about that CPU, so I looked it up. It's only 4 cores, 4 threads, and does not have integrated graphics. So even if you wanted me to just pull one of those P104, or I keep forgetting what they're called, 106 cards to throw on here to mine, not really gonna work because he would like it in Windows, and they don't have a display, and neither does the CPU. So I'm gonna inform him that this one is probably a no-go. Let's go ahead and test out this one now. Has a relatively new AMD cooler. This is better than what comes with like a Ryzen 3600, so maybe we've got a better CPU on this one. What's interesting here is I guess this right here is an NVMe heatsink. Never seen anything like that, but pretty big and bulky. So let's test this one out. So this card is currently zip tied, it looks like. What is that? Or maybe a twisty tie onto here. I'm just gonna go ahead and cut that. Because we need to replace this with a actual display GPU. Okay, there we go. I think he said he got a few of these cards for like, maybe multiple of them for like $40 total. So not per card, but per GPU. In P104, so maybe they are just P104 mining GPUs. But you can see they had a little bit of use in their life. They got a little bit of thermal pad bleed there going on. But otherwise, I mean, they are decent GPUs. They just don't make any money these days. So we'll have to power this rig down, steal our 3070 back. These are the weirdest little screws I've ever seen. They've got like a little nut on them. Certainly more difficult than just having a standard screw down. Okay, so from here, let's get our graphics card plugged back in. Luckily, this one has a PSU that will work right out of the box. I should go ahead and make sure that this is on 115. Yes, it is. And motherboard cable is not seated properly. Let's get that fixed. Okay. Where is the CPU cable? It is not plugged in. And it almost doesn't reach. It actually doesn't reach. So the power supply is zip tied down as well, but it's in a place where I can't even plug in the CPU cable. I need to move this like back over here. Now I can go ahead and plug in this cable right here. Okay, same as last time. Let's get our HDMI plugged in and our power cable cord. So, man, this frame right here is so kind of cockeyed. I can't really get my monitor cable in there correctly. I'm just gonna go ahead and take this little bracket off for right now. Certainly, if this one actually does end up working, I'm gonna recommend that we go to one of the standard AI frames because this one is not cutting it. This has got bolts and nuts too. There we go. Now we can plug our monitor cable in. Quickly becoming a mess here, but this one should be good to go now. I'm going to go ahead and flip the power switch. I bet it doesn't turn on again. Yes, we need to add a power button to this one as well. Where is that? I think it might be underneath the GPU, unfortunately, so might have to pull that back off. Damn. That thing is cranking. There we go. Got the key. Not a great sign. I've seen this before where it's not posting. It's just powering up that CPU, powering it off, powering it up the CPU, powering it off. First thing we'll do is just reseat the RAM here and see if that fixes it. But oh, now it all of a sudden posts. Okay. Memory PMU training error. Never seen that before. And it may have just rebooted again. I really just want to see the CPU we're using here. Alright, I gotta just hit the delete key, I guess. Thought it would take me straight there. All right. Oh, wow. This is a decent CPU. We've got a Ryzen 9 3900X in here. Looks like a B450 Pro motherboard. So this one is working with something. I need to look up. I don't know if the 3900X has integrated graphics. I don't think it does, but I will check that out. I think this cooler needs to be remounted. It sounds pretty weird. But this one may have some life in it yet. This could be a pretty decent Cryptex rig if you mine with one card and mine with the CPU. That's a decent mining CPU. So I can tell him this one probably has some life to it. But all right, so that's all we're going to do on these today. We may have another video in the future, depending on what they want to do, turning this into some sort of rig. But for now, let's jump back into the kind of AI side of things. let me take you guys upstairs to the computer and we'll kind of walk through some interesting things I'm noticing on my farm. And I forgot to mention, congrats to, I think it was Prime Time, who won this Bidax Gamma. Still waiting for him to give me his shipping information, and then I will ship that out. The giveaway was for members only. Got a little bit of heat on that. My channel membership is $3, guys, so yes, it's not technically a free giveaway. It's meant for kind of the major fans, but I mean, $3 doesn't really make you a major fan. So there was only 4 people who commented. So next giveaway I do, guys, pay attention, because you got a very high chance of winning it, and he's gonna get that Bidax Gamma. So let's hop upstairs. All right, so real quickly, let's go over an update of just how my rigs have been doing. It's been a couple weeks since I actually did an update on this. Like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, for salad, I'm mainly focusing on keeping my 4090s on there. And if you can see, I've got 3 of them all currently active. And we were doing very good with just 3 straight lines. Today, it's getting a bit wonky. The TO1 came down for a bit, but it looks like it's coming back up. So something strange there, but we can take a look at the 7 days. And all of these have been averaging about $5 a day, which is awesome. If my 3070s are making $5 a day, then I'm happy. And if we take a look at the aggregate, we're making $10 a day, $14 a day, 13, 15. Yesterday was 17 because they just had straight line jobs the entire day. No BS. Now the 30-day looks a little bit different. Our best days was like 21. That was when I had some 3090s on here as well. Then I had a very bad internet crash. It was down for like a whole day. And then gradually, as I'm getting my jobs back, then the last 4 or 5 days have been pretty good until I get another either power crash or internet crash. Those have been the bane of my existence lately. Sometimes it seems like they'll get a little better, and then it happens again. So I'm still working on kind of getting those things fixed, but on average, we're making, let's say, $15 a day on our 4090s, and these are using a little bit of power, certainly more than the 3090s and the 5090s, but not too much. So I would say on average, $14 a day in profit on those. And now the Octaspace side is a little bit more interesting. So I've got, like I mentioned, all of my 3090s on Octaspace here. I'll blow this up. And they are all busy right now. Every single one of them has a job. The 5090 also has a job. Let's go into this. So the 5090, for some reason, they're only really using my CPU here. You can see it's at 63% load, which is not bad by any means. There was a few days where someone was mining cubic on this system, and the GPU plus the CPU combined was like 800 watts. Pretty crazy there. But if we go into sessions, you can see this one's been going for 4 days and 16 hours. The one before that was a day and 22 hours. So for a while, I was struggling to get long-term jobs on my 5090, and this does seem to be much better now. And one thing I did do is I actually did enable my service ports and did port forwarding through my router and made sure all that was set up correctly. And I believe that that has significantly helped me get better jobs. Now, I did it for an app called Pluralis, which someone can rent your node and use. I don't even know what it does, but you need to have ports open for that. But I do know that Pluralis is currently not working. But what I'm not clear on is if there's other apps that benefit from having the ports forwarded. And if there is, that could explain why my 5090 is all of a sudden doing pretty good on jobs. But the 3090s, like I mentioned, have been doing a very good job. Let's take a look at a few of these. And you can really see from my historical sessions just how bad my internet and power issues have been. My last 4 sessions, I guess 6 sessions, have all been failures on this rig. But if you look at it, 8 days, 4 hours, 6 days, basically 1 day, 5 days, and I'm on a 5-day one now. So essentially, my rigs are being rented indefinitely until my internet or power crashes. So my reliability is actually pretty low, even though I'll go for 6 or 5 day jobs with no issues, and then there's an issue. That's a little bit unfortunate. I kind of wish I had a couple more small jobs just to kind of bump up those reliability numbers. I would think that they would actually maybe want to calculate that in terms of successful time rented versus number of stoppages or something, instead of just how many jobs started and failed, because you could have 2 jobs that lasted 100 days and both of them failed. well, you basically had 99.99% uptime, but your reliability score would be 0 because you failed both of those jobs. So that metric is kind of flawed in my opinion, but that's what's been happening. All of my rigs are reliably rented, which is awesome. They are low power. We'll take a look at the hardware. And you can see like they're not even really using them. They're using 13 gigabytes of the 24 gigs of VRAM, but that supposedly doesn't take any power. The GPU is sitting at 30 degrees and the CPU is not being used either. So pretty good results here. Let's take a look at the dashboard here, or the overview. I've earned about 1,000 Octa, $382. This is going to be significantly higher once all those other jobs end. But in general, this is probably closer to like $500. And with my salad earnings at 1064, we've basically already paid off a 4090. I'm going to do a separate video covering all this in more detail, but that's pretty good. $1,500, and I've only had all of my GPUs for like about a month or so. Glad to see that. So pretty soon, once this hits $1,090, I'm going to be going into store and I can actually finally cash out here. And by the way, I will have my salad stuff down below. How do I get in here? Yeah, so I can buy a $1,000 PayPal gift card for 1,090 salad dollars. So they did change it to a 9% salad fee instead of 10. Helps a little bit. That was one of the main things I was asking them for, and it looks like they did that. So pretty soon I'll be doing that. Demand is looking pretty decent on salad, at least if you have high VRAM GPUs. The 5090 is still iffy on here, but the 4090 has been absolutely killing it, and I have not noticed any difference from the salad drop in payouts, or the salad like rental price drops. I haven't noticed any of that. If that's even gone into effect yet, I'm not sure. So that's basically it, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll leave 2 more to check out on your way out. Peace.